he's gonna be that, you know what? I'm gonna save that insight for the show.
Oh,
I'm gonna save her for the show.
Yeah.
You know what else I'm saving for the show?
What's that?
Hey there, everybody.
You know what else I'm saving for the show? The show.
The show. That's like a recursive start right there. Welcome to PixelLit. I'm not sure that loop ever ends, actually.
No, that's the repeat symbol over the number.
I've really broken that Factorio loop right there. My name is Kevin. Alongside with me, as always, is Phil.
Hello.
And we're back. We're back, baby. To talk about Five Nights at Freddy's: The Silver Eyes. Well, this is our second episode on it.
2 episodes in, and it still hasn't broken us yet.
Actually, it might be getting better.
It is getting better.
It is getting better. That's weird. So, episode 1. I mean, we could recap episode 1, but you might just watch Phil have a stroke.
Look, a lot of things happen. These kids get together. We learn almost nothing about them. We find out that the main character, Charlie, her dad is a robot maker / owner of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where a bunch of kids went missing. They've been very coy with that information, however. They've been dragging it out quite a bit. And when we left off, our main character was crashing with another female character to talk about boys.
Ooh,
so,
boys.
As you can imagine, Kevin and I pretty pumped right now.
Pretty pumped.
Because we want to hear all about the boys.
Yeah, all about the boys. Chapter 5, though, basically they all stay in the motel overnight. And Chapter 5, Charlie she's going outside and she's just gonna have a pensive sunrise, and then out comes John.
She's having her little Tatooine moment.
She has to go look at the twin sunrises and sip her coffee. But no, John comes out to comfort her, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. She accidentally stepped on him basically while she was leaving.
Right.
Accidentally. So yeah, I mean, we got some John on Charlie action. That sounded wrong. We got some John action.
John, that's also not good. What are you doing?
We got some John. Sorry. No, that's also wrong.
No, look, what he's trying to say is
John comforts Charlie.
Charlie stepped on John and he liked it. No,
he liked it. He said, "Step on me, mommy."
Step on me, mommy.
Oh, God damn it! This is all wrong.
This is not working. All right, let's just go ahead and quit the show.
Just quit.
They beat us.
John
again.
goes outside to talk to Charlie.
Yeah.
And then they go for a walk in the woods. And this entire walk in the woods is basically Charlie starting to reminisce about her life before they moved into the big creepy house, because she has memories from the before time.
Yes.
And she starts to kind of dig through, and John is over there on the sidelines like, "Yes, remember harder."
He really is. He's playing Phantom of the Opera, like, "Sing, my angel of music." Like, just
sing, my angel of music.
He's just like, "Do it. Remember, bitch. I'm your boyfriend now." What? Nothing.
Nothing
Nothing at all.
Softly, slowly, night unfurls its splendor. So John
that's the
that's the rest of the show. John, I'm just gonna do the Phantom parts back to back from now on. So John's pushing her to remember more, and she remembers that there was another restaurant before the pizzeria.
Yes.
And that the costumes, there were people in costumes, like mascots in the restaurant, like entertaining, singing and dancing for the customers. Mm-hmm. And one was a yellow bear. The other was a yellow bunny. And she also remembers that she had a twin brother.
Yeah,
not that she
nugget.
remembers that she doesn't necessarily remember that she had a twin brother. She always knew she had a twin brother, but she never actually said it to anyone, because the way she always thought of it in her mind was that she was me, or he was me, he was us, like we were we, or something. Like it was some weird like second person, like we were the same person type of thing.
Right.
And then
it's
he's like,
weird.
And John is like, basically, John is the Walter White, what the fuck are you talking about? GIF.
Yeah,
and
pretty
Charlie's
much.
like, oh, I had a twin brother.
Yeah. You had what? It's like this just nothing about this feels normal to have just kind of glossed over at this point. But at least things are happening.
Things are happening.
Cool. You're good with me.
Yeah. So they decide, Charlie remembers a song that her parents used to sing, and it referenced the name of the town, possibly, that this restaurant was in. And John's like, well, that town's just like the next one over. So they hop in the car and they go for a ride, and they're trying to figure out that it's near train tracks, and there was a scary ass tree, and it's looking like they're not going to find it. And then suddenly Charlie's like, stop the car. And she gets out of the car and she starts running off in a direction, and John parks the car and follows her. And it's a real dynamic moment, but also if you're a starting out writer, it's kind of cliche at this point, because she could have just been like, turn here, rather than getting out of the car.
Oh, she had to have her like, you have no power over me. I've come from the land of the Goblin King in her white dress, running through the rain moment. And it's kind of a weird choice, but it happens. Yeah.
But there is no David Bowie in this.
That's the main issue with all of the books we've read so far, that they lack David Bowie. That's
the reason, David Bowie.
That's the reason we haven't hit a single A+ yet, because you lack David Bowie. I find your lack of David Bowie disturbing, books. God damn it.
Your lack of David Bowie is disturbing.
That's what we need, man. That's the only thing the only thing that could have made like the Fall of Reach better. If you could just get Bowie somewhere in the Covenant, because get
him in there. Covenant. He's R.I.P. David Bowie, but he still would have improved anything. So she runs through the woods and she finds it. She has some proto memories are triggering now, and they're firing on all cylinders, and she remembers how to get there. And they find it. It is a dilapidated, boarded up building, and it has a sign on there. It says Fredbear's Family Diner.
There it is.
Which I believe is significant for people who are interested in FNAF lore. I am not, so I'm moving right along. And
good man.
They go in there, and she starts to have a few more memories, and then she remembers that her brother was kidnapped by a man wearing the yellow bunny costume.
Yeah, the yellow bunny costume, which, because we talked about this before. I am always thinking we're referencing Golden Freddy, which was a significant lore part of the first Five Nights at Freddy's. But we're going with a golden Bonnie here.
Yeah, it's a golden Bonnie.
Is that
which is
FNAF
different?
3? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. They all kind of blur together in my head.
Sure.
The Golden Freddy costume is referenced at some point in these chapters. Yeah. Because it was two mascots. It was the Golden Freddy and the Golden Bonnie, but they had people in them. In the costumes for the most part.
Yeah.
Also in this chapter, I forgot to mention they have a little getting to know you segment where John talks about the story that he wrote that got published.
Yes, we get a little synopsis of his Bukowski-esque scrawlings.
Yeah, and
you're
it's
not
called
wrong.
the Yellow. Yeah, it's called the Yellow House. And given that this is a horror story, whenever somebody brings up yellow, I always go to like, all right, are they making like a King in Yellow
naturally sure
reference or connection? I don't see it. I don't think so.
Not here.
In any fashion.
You're right to assume that with just about any other story. You're absolutely right to assume that, but I don't think that's what we're dealing with. I don't
think it applies here.
No.
So yeah, they talk a little bit more about what the story is about. It's a little bit of a bummer. He says he's writing a happy story next, but he's being really coy about it. And we get to know Charlie a little bit more, and we find out that she really doesn't see her mom at all. No. And this is kind of like the first time we hear that, oh yeah, her mom is still around.
Right. This is like the first even reference point to her that we get. Like it's just been her dad the whole time, with not even so much as a mention that she had a mother. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So she doesn't really talk to her mom because there's some shared trauma there that kind of prevents them from connecting. Right. Which I get. That's a thing.
Yeah, sure. That's interesting. Fine.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting factoid. So jumping back ahead, chapter 6, we go to the hotel, we go to dinner, nothing important happens.
Nothing happens. I started to get like PTSD where I was like, no. You started to offer us actual stuff. Stop this. Why is it every time they have a meal, we have to count the chews? Like, what the
Thankfully,
fuck?
it's really brief. Thankfully, yes. it's like a page, and it's like a half a page, and it's like, then they're back at the ball and be like, okay.
Right. Good, fine.
They make a point to say that Charlie leaves the police flashlight behind. Mm. There's no real reason given other than she's like, oh, everybody else has a regular size flashlight. Like, why wouldn't you bring the police flashlight?
We have enough. We have enough flashlights. I think we're good. It's like, God, just bring the flashlight.
In a horror, if you find yourself in a horror story, you don't have enough flashlights.
No, you don't.
You never have enough flashlights.
If you are investigating an abandoned mall, you do not have enough flashlights, especially ones that can be used as a club.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I am going to, next time I play a horror role-playing game, I'm going to request that I have a suit of armor made out of nothing but LED strips.
Yeah, that would help. That would be good.
Just glowing through the rooms.
Waddling, you can see death as it approaches.
Yeah, I don't want that guy jump scaring me. If I could see him coming down the hallway, I'm fine. I don't want him like
no jump.
Like,
no
okay,
scare.
I see you're going to kill me, but at least I see you coming for me.
Exactly, because I'm waddling, so I can't.
Because I am like the kid from Christmas Story when he's wearing the snowsuit.
Wrapped in LEDs.
I can't put my arms down.
I can't put my arms down, and I'm about to die. That's a terrible twist.
Terrible twist. Yeah, so, but they go into the mall, and wouldn't you know it, the security guard has finally caught on to that.
He's finally doing his goddamn job. I honestly thought we were going to have like this kind of like the security guard is just a figure in the distance that we couldn't afford an extra or something like that. And I honest to God thought that's where we were going with this.
The security guard actually is the green light that is on Daisy Buchanan's dock.
Exactly.
The orgastic green light across the water.
he's a desk cop, Sergeant Metaphor.
Metaphor.
We
Sergeant Metaphor, West Egg PD.
God. But yeah, we actually see the security guard. God forbid,
security guard, and he is a creepy dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's like thin and sickly looking, and he barely fills out his rent-a-cop uniform. And they're like, sorry, we'll just go. And he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna let you guys go. And they're like, well, how about we take you into Freddy's? Didn't you always want to take a look inside there? He's like, I guess you're right.
What the fuck? Like, they literally like offered, like, yeah, but you could. All right, here's the thing, dude. You could kick us out, or you could escort us through an abandoned Showbiz Pizza. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
So he takes them up on their offer, and
yeah,
they go inside.
Sure. What the fuck?
So there's a lot of stuff that happens in this chapter. It's not like, but it could be summed up in a few bullet points, right? So they're going through, and the security guard goes back behind the stage.
Let's be very clear on the distinction.
He's not a cop.
He's not a cop.
Not a cop.
Not a cop. You know, fucking cop.
He's no fucking cop.
Departed reference number 12,000. We're getting up there. It's neck and neck with 40K. I have to believe that.
It's yeah. I think the eventual supercut will have to just be the Departed and 40K
pretty much
references back to back. So he's not a cop. Goes backstage to the control room with a few. Here's the thing: it doesn't really matter which characters, because I didn't even write down which characters were in. There's only like 2 characters that actually matter in this sequence,
right?
Ultimately, and those are going to be Jason and Carlton.
Yeah,
all the other ones are kind of like interchangeable in terms of what they're doing. So the rent-a-cop is backstage. He's futzing around. It seems like he's actually been in the building before, even though he just said he hasn't been.
Yeah. You get a real sense of the like, oh, he's there's a reason he went with this, that he's like, yeah, of course I'll go back there with you for evil. Like, oh,
for
good.
Evil.
For evil purposes.
So he's just messing around, and then he leaves, and then Lamar is back there, I think, and they're fucking about, and the animatronics start losing their shit.
Yeah.
They're like swinging their arms around. The body actually is able to rip its foot off the ground, where it's kind of nailed down. So shit's happening. Then, and the guy, Dave, I believe his name is, the security guard. He leaves.
Which is, I think, the name of the security guard in the first Five Nights at Freddy's.
Is it?
I believe.
Or is it Mike?
Is it Mike? Hold on.
I don't know.
We keep going. I'm going to look it up.
So Dave goes back, and he sneaks into the office because he has a key for the office. The office, there's a moment where in one of the earlier chapters where Charlie's like, yeah, I don't want to go into there.
Yeah.
Basically like a point and click character, refusing the command that you give them. Charlie's like, no, I am not going in there. Dave basically goes and opens it up, and he opens a locker in the office and finds, wouldn't you know it, there's a yellow Bonnie costume hanging in the locker. So that's terrifying. Meanwhile, Jason goes back to the room where he saw the weird drawings, and he's like staring at them because he saw the one change, and as he's staring at them, like in his periphery, out of the corner of his eyes, he starts seeing them change around him. And as he's looking around, they all start changing and telling a story of a kid running away from Bonnie. Mm-hmm. And it's a genuinely creepy moment.
Yeah,
and
the
suddenly
weird drawing
like
shifts are
the drawings start changing on the walls, and then the papers like fly off the walls and start crashing down onto him. And they're like as they hit the ground, they turn blood red. And he's covering his head. He's like, and his sister comes in. And this is like the most fucked up thing in the book so far. His sister comes in and he is legitimately frightened. Mm-hmm. And the sister comes in and leans over to him and says, "You are an embarrassment to me."
What?
And leaves him.
Fuck. What?
I was like,
fuck.
I thought you wanted to like shield him from the fucked up shit your parents were doing.
We literally like 2 chapters ago had her like going, he's really great and I love him. I'm trying to help him along with this divorce thing and da-da-da-da-da-da. But you should kill yourself, you little fucking freak.
I was like, what the fuck? I had to pause for a moment. Yeah, I had to pause for a moment because I was like, was he imagining Marla coming in and saying that to him?
Yeah.
Or did Marla actually come in and say that to him?
Yeah.
Is it some ghost shit happening or what? What's going on here?
I have to believe it's some kind of... That's the only thing that... Because if it's not, then we are really playing fast and loose with the motivations of these characters.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gotten that kind of shit at home with his arguing parents.
Yeah, exactly.
Why'd you bring him along?
That train's never late. That's coming. They're eventually going to turn their anger and frustration on him. That's happening.
Yeah.
He doesn't need it from his sister. Jesus.
So, they're moving around the rooms, and Jason is in the room with Foxy now. He's looking at the curtain, and the curtain pulls open and the yellow Bonnie comes out, and he's startled and he's scared about it. And Carlton comes in, and Carlton's like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?" And like puts Jason behind him, and the yellow Bonnie grabs Carlton and puts him in like a headlock and drags him into the darkness.
Yeah.
And Jason's like, "We got to get at, like, what's going on here, blah, blah, blah." They're all freaking out. Everybody's running in circles, and they all leave.
Yeah. They do the most understandable thing in the book. They leave.
They all get out, and Jason keeps repeating that Carlton was taken by Bonnie.
Yes.
Over and over again. And nobody believes him. They're like, "You're a dumb kid," but Carlton is missing.
Yeah, but and yet Carlton is not here. Yeah,
and yet Carlton is not here. Neither is the other dude. So
and you're right, by the way. Mike is the person you play in the
Mike is okay.
FNAF, yeah.
Yep, pulled that one out of ether. So they do the responsible thing, and they're like, "Let's go get an adult."
Yeah. This is, by the way, this is fascinating to me because this starts the first section in the book, the first moment in the book, and it continues from here. But this is where it starts, of them finally coming clean and admitting that they are not, in fact, old enough to even vote. Like these characters we were saying, these are just unsupervised children, and we're not going to talk about this? No. Finally, 170 goddamn pages into this book, one of them goes, "Maybe we need an adult?" And you go, "Oh, now you're thinking this. Jesus Christ. Where are your parents? I swear."
So the adult that they hone in on at first is Carlton's dad.
Yes.
So we're jumping into the next chapter now. They're driving back into town, And instead of going to Carlton's parents right away, they see a cop. And the first cop they see, they're like, okay, let's just grab him.
Yeah.
And they try to convince this guy, Officer Dunn, that Carlton is missing. Their friend is missing. They don't really say who he is yet. Their friend is missing. He's back at the mall, blah, blah, blah. The cop's like, all right, fine, I'll fucking check it out. And the cop is 100% certain that they're just fucking with him.
Sure.
So they go back to the mall, and now there are chains and padlocks on the door where Freddy to get into Freddy's. And the guy is like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, seriously. And finally they tell him, like, it's Carlton, whatever his name is. I forget his last name. It's Carlton so-and-so. And the cop is like, oh, God damn it. And because he puts it together that it is the son of his boss. Carlton's dad is the chief of police. So they go back outside. Carlton's dad comes out to the mall, and he's like, this basically, Carlton's dad is the most useless human being on the planet.
It's so weird. Like, if it weren't for the fact that we are reading a book where a lot of the adults, and it is effective when you think about it, when you're dealing with main characters who are essentially children, not essentially, they are indeed children.
Right.
It is a time-honored horror trope that the adults are scary and strange and do things that you don't understand. But even for that kind of a trope, Carlton's dad, it displays a level of weird suspiciousness that defies logic. This whole section is so weird, and it doesn't normalize itself at all until the next morning. So go ahead.
Carlton's dad, Clay, by the way, I think his name is
Clay.
Clay. Bill Clay.
Clay.
Carlton's dad basically has the energy of the evil adult in an R.L. Stine book.
Yes. I was going to say, Are You Afraid of the Dark? But absolutely same energy. 100%. Some kind of weird-ass Canadian, horror children's anthology series. Yes.
So, he gets out there and he's like, oh, this has to just be a prank. Carlton's always playing pranks. He's probably going to pop out of the bushes at any second. In fact, maybe he will right now. And like nothing happens. He's like,
and the camera scrolls over to a bush and nothing happens. And 5 minutes pass and the cameras come back to everybody else and they go, well, it was worth a shot.
It was worth a shot. Hey, why don't you kids come back to my house?
Oh, God. And they do it, the fucking idiots. Oh, my God.
They do. Oh, God. They go back to the Carlton's house, and they basically they are telling Clay everything, right? And there's some interesting tense moments between Clay and Charlie because and we're not going to find out right. We're not going to find out yet, but Clay has some thoughts about Charlie's family, so to speak.
Yeah.
So there's some weird moments of tension, but Clay is 100% sure it's going to be A-okay. Why don't you kids go stay in the guest room?
And this is actually the section of the book for me that I started to I found fascinating. In a way, because as we very vocally complained about, the first 140 pages of this book, we learn basically nothing about anyone except for Charlotte, and we're like, there's no development with these characters. We don't know a thing about these people, and this is actually the moment because he's explaining to them, Clayton, like, he became kind of a bad seed. Like when he got into high school, he started pretending that he had a twin, and
oh god, yeah, that was so messed up.
It was
I was like Carlton is an absolute psychopath.
The description, he's like, yeah, he pretends to be a twin, and I'm also not trusting Clay, so I don't know how much I can believe this. But what happens is Charlie starts thinking about it, and she says, we've all been apart from each other so long. I actually don't know anything about these people, and I haven't learned anything about these people. And I started to go, is the author fucking with me? Like, is this the purpose? Am I being fucked with, like, emotionally here? Because it's like, all we did was sit there and, like, for 120 pages, nothing, not a thing, not a character development. What the shit? And then, like, 200 pages in, they're like, yeah, and you don't know anything about them either, do you, pawn scum? And you're like, I don't like your attitude. What's going on?
I was like, did you just do a setup and a payoff on it was a really risky setup, but this if this is a legitimate payoff, it's a big one.
It's a big one, and I'm just like, this book is actually starting to get pretty okay. Like, I'm not calling it good yet because I need to read the whole thing, but I feel fucked with.
I feel fucked with, and it's above Dead Space, at least.
Oh, it is 100%. Yeah, it's above basically all the graphic novels we've read and Dead Space. Like, we're in solid 3-star territory here. Just pulling that jet to freedom.
So just to circle back to the thing Carlton did, because I want to dive a little bit into it, because it is one of the most creepy things I've heard talked about secondhand in a horror story that's not intended to be scary. So Carlton, basically, he's been growing up, he's been getting more and more into these practical jokes, and then he got transferred to a different high school, and it's a high school from out of town where they didn't know him.
Yeah.
And he pretended for the first month of the school year that he had an identical twin named Sean, and he kept everybody fooled for an entire month. The thing gets messed up when Sean had a girlfriend, keeping in mind that Sean is Carlton.
Yeah.
Carlton did not have the girlfriend. Sean did. So when it came out that he was just one person, the relationship obviously ended because he's not Sean. He was just pretending to be this other person and dating this girl. And I was like, that is supremely fucked up.
Absolutely.
And honestly,
that's scarier than any fucking animatronic bullshit we could be dealing with in this book.
Honestly, that's like, and content warning here, if you want to skip ahead a little bit. Honestly, that would, if they had relations and all that, I mean, that's sexual assault.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah.
Because it becomes there's a really weird, murky consent issue that suddenly becomes very present. Now, none of that is actually stated in the story. This is a young adult novel, but like, assume that these characters are doing stuff like that because they're 17 years old.
They're 17, yeah.
So, like, I don't. And here's the thing: I'm not sure. What's her name? Kira Breed Riesly.
Kira Breed Riesly, yeah.
Yeah, and Scott Cawthon necessarily did a full thought experiment.
No.
In terms of what this meant.
No. I don't think they followed this road all the way down to the end.
Yeah, the logical conclusion of this road is very, very dark.
Yeah.
So that whole thing was like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we still also have that this Clay guy is supremely unreliable. We don't know.
He feels like an unreliable narrator at the same time.
Very much so. So this might be bullshit too. I don't, but yeah, this whole section with Clay is way creepier than any of the, there's a stuffed bear coming to get you shit. Like, this is actual dark half shit. It's very, very grim.
Hey, you know what? Humans, wouldn't you know it? But humans, just throwing this out there.
Go on. Yeah,
humans might be the real monsters.
We're the Walking Dead.
What?
We are
the
Five Nights at Freddy's. I couldn't even get there.
We are the five.
We are the Silver Eyes.
We are the Silver Eyes. We are the Five Nights. The Five Nights spelled Kni. We are the Five Nights of Frederick.
The Five Nights of Frederick. Behold,
the Five
my
Nights
halberd
of
of jump scares.
Oh God, that would be a fun reference to sneak into like a Baldur's Gate type of game or whatever.
God, yes,
like a king. There's like a King Frederick, and he has 5 knights, and each of the knight has like a sigil. Like one is a sigil as a bear, one is as a chicken.
Yeah, Brave Sir Robin. That would be good. That would be good.
Oh gosh. Anyway, that's that all happens and they go to bed.
It's fine.
They go to bed. It's fine. They go to bed. And so the next morning, by the way, there's a big dream sequence where Charlie kind of started seeming like she's unearthing some shit. She has a dream sequence about her dad in the old house, and some creepy ass animatronic basically stalking her,
right.
In their old house. The next morning they're eating breakfast, and Clay is just like, "Hey everybody, it's pancakes." And like, "Is Carlton back?" And he's like, "Nah."
It's so weird. It's so weird. Who likes pancakes? And fucking Marla comes in and is like, "I like pancakes, bitch." And he's like, "Cool," flips him a pancake. And we're all just fine. Nothing's happened.
And then Carlton's mother comes downstairs, and she's all dressed and ready to go to work. By the way, there's a weird line in here, and I might not be able to.
You talking about her hair? Because I can't stop thinking.
No,
about that
I was thinking about the moment where, because it says that she's the district attorney.
Yes, for the county.
We're in chapter 8, by the way.
Yes, chapter 8.
She's the district attorney. Betty is the DA for the county. Yeah. So yeah, they say Betty is the DA, but she wouldn't be the one putting them back out on the street. She'd be the one that puts them in jail.
Right. I think, yeah.
Maybe they mixed up. Maybe she's the public defender. Maybe they thought
that she's a public defender or something.
Was public defender, because that's what. I don't know. Anyway,
choice.
I highlighted that because I was just like, that's weird. But basically, she hasn't heard any of it. She was asleep when they all came in last night, and they're just like, "Oh, we're not gonna bother her."
Right.
And basically they tell her what happened, and she's like, she finally is the first adult to have an appropriate reaction.
Oh my God. And she loses her mind, and she's like, "You didn't fucking wake me up. Our fucking son could be stuck in that restaurant where all those kids died. What the fuck is wrong with you?" And like, And by the way, I don't appreciate the fact that we've treated her like an ice queen this entire time. The description of her is like her hair shellacked down and she's very cold and she's just like this cold ice queen bitch kind of a character. And then she does the only sane thing anyone has done for 100 pages. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You let me sleep. Like, what the fuck?
You didn't go in there to look. Right. You left him. You possibly left him there, and he's like, well, he's a prankster. And you're like, and she goes, Michael was his best friend, and like Carlton, as fucked up as he is, would not desecrate that. Mm-hmm. Would not do that. Would not use Freddy's as a prank.
Right.
And she's like, you go out there and you fucking find our son. And he's like, okay, I'll send him.
I was just trying to be the cool dad.
Like, just trying to be cool dad.
Cool dad don't care. We're having pancakes.
We're having pancakes. My son's getting murdered.
Yeah. Murder cakes. Woo.
Murder cakes. And Marla's like, murder cakes, bitch.
She was that's also hilarious. Like, after everything is so weird right now, and Marla is so pumped about those fucking pancakes. It is weird. It's really weird.
So basically the police officer from the night before, Officer Dunn, he gets a call from dispatch, go check out the mall. And he does. He's like, all right, fine. He goes out, and now the doors open again. The padlocks have been opened up. The chains are all undone and all that stuff. And he starts going into Freddy's. He's looking around. He's sneaking around. And meanwhile, we find out Officer Dunn is actually pretty young. He's early 20s maybe. He's only a few years older than the kids.
Yeah.
And he remembers going to Freddy's as a kid. So he's a little creeped out by going through this place. He goes in and he gets his way, and he finds his way back into the back office, and he opens up that locker, the locker from the previous chapter, and in it is the Bonnie costume, just like standing there. And then it jumps out at him and tackles him to the ground. And there's a fight. It breaks his arm and then throws him against the wall. And he's basically, arm broken, out of breath against the wall. And the Bonnie the yellow Bonnie, draws a knife. And he just has these terrified final thoughts of what is going on here as he gets stabbed to death by the yellow Bonnie.
Yeah. So 2/3 into the book, we've got our first death.
We got our first death. Within the pages of the book, Officer Dunn. It's at a 1 to that kill count. One for Dunn.
I think that's too much to ask. A few deaths in a horror book, even a kid's horror book. Christ.
Yeah. So Dunn is dead.
It's a big old wrap on Dunn. We're done with Dunn.
We're done with Dunn. That's a picture.
That's high quality comedy writing right there. Thank you.
Charlie and John go back to her old house again because John is just addicted to being the guy for Charlie.
John is addicted to being there for you. I'm there for you. I'm John.
I'm John, and I'm there for you. Listen, if they wanted to make John an interesting character, they would have just made him. If they just would have made him Jess from Gilmore Girls.
I mean, come on. Would it be too much to ask, for him to not just be constantly embracing you when you're a little worried about a little something?
Yeah, just make him Jess from Gilmore Girls.
Give him some development.
Just get Milo Ventimiglia in here, and he'll take care of the part for you.
I know he's way older now, but still, we'll just.
I know he's way older now.
He'll play 17-year-old. It'll be fine. Everyone will love
40 something.
Yeah.
How old is Milo Ventimiglia?
I mean, he's got to be my age at least.
Milo Ventimiglia.
I admire that you can just say that name like that. I guess it comes with having an Italian wife.
He was born in 1977. So
okay. So he's
45.
45, yeah.
45, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, he's 5 years older than me. Okay.
It's an older meme, sir, but it checks out. John accompanies Charlie back to her house. And this is, so far I've liked this chunk of chapters a lot more than the first chunk of chapters that we've read.
There's no comparison, absolutely.
But this segment in Charlie's house is the worst part of it. This is pretty bad. It's super boring, and I'm not even sure. There's not even a clear motivation as why they went back to the house again. They just went.
They just go.
They just go. So they're talking about, the stuff in Charlie's room. Charlie's going through her dad's documents to see if they can find anything. John oversteps his bounds at one point when he admits to Charlie, oh yeah, everybody thought your dad killed these kids.
Yeah, I have a problem with this section, by the way, because she says, "What did people think of my dad?" All we've talked about is
child murder.
We've had a lot of talk about child murder. We've had a lot of talk about it being at her dad's restaurant. We've had a lot of implication on her dad being, involved some way. Never said out loud, but a lot of implication. And she asks John, "What did people think of my dad?" And he says, "I believe, very naturally, there were some people who thought maybe he did it." And she freaks out. This had never occurred to her, apparently. That maybe people suspected. And he's like, "What did you think? What did you mean?" And she's like, "I just wanted to know if you thought people liked him or something." Well, that's completely useless information to ask for at a time like this, Charlie. So what
Charlie,
the fuck?
What are you? Just be a little clearer, Charlie.
Right. She flips out. It's just I didn't know people thought that he maybe was a murderer. And then she kind of steps it back because he goes, I thought that you might know that. She goes, "I did. I just didn't want to know." Really?
She's like, "I thought he could have done it too." And John's like, "What the fuck?"
And John turns on her. She's like, "I also thought so." And he goes, "Well, that's kind of fucked up." She's like, "Fuck you." It's the weirdest emotional back and forth. It's so strange. It's and I agree. We get back to a point where I'm like, this is getting back into shit town USA here with some of this writing.
Yeah, this is a little bit weak. This whole segment.
So
we do
weird.
find out how he killed himself.
Yes,
maybe kind of. That he had one of his animatronics stab him to death or something like that.
Right.
That's kind of the implication of the way it's written. It's not explicit. But basically, but why the fuck did she see it?
Yeah.
Why wasn't that cordoned off or whatever? Why would they let her back into the house?
Right. Yeah. I don't. She's a kid. They sneak around. I don't know. That's kind of random and weird.
Yeah, that was
unless
a little weird.
That's a setup for something else down the line, because we've had some really weird landmines set up for us before with this book. Maybe that's one of them too. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, they talk about the yellow rabbit. They're like, who's in the suit? There's a guy in the suit. And John's like, yeah, there was a yellow rabbit the day Michael went missing. And they're starting to put some pieces together. I feel like they could have put some of these pieces together sooner.
Way sooner.
you get what you get with the public education system in
in Hurricane wherever
in Hurricane Utah.
Is it Utah? Where do we?
It's Utah.
It's Utah. Okay, that was never clear to me. Okay,
yeah.
Utah. Cool, I guess.
So they go to the library, and they start working through some microfilm. They meet a very helpful librarian.
Weirdly overly helpful librarian.
Overly helpful. And also she's like, have fun, and is like winks at them as if they're gonna make out in the microfilm.
Yeah, was that the implication? Like, she's like, I know you guys are gonna finger each other in the microfiche room. Like, Jesus, lady.
You guys ready to micro finger bang?
That's where you only use your little toe.
God damn it.
God, that grossed me out. I don't think I fully appreciated the implications of what I was suggesting until it was fully out of my mouth.
No, you didn't. So that's it. That's the end of the podcast.
So we thank you all for joining us for this.
We thank you all for joining us.
Kevin and I will not be speaking to each other ever again.
So they start looking through the papers. They start with 1979, and then they do some math and figure it has to be in the first part of 1982 or something or the second half of 1982, rather.
Yeah.
And they start scrolling through, and they find the article, and Charlie's like, and John starts reading the article, and Charlie's like, no, I don't need to hear the article. Just tell me if there's anything interesting in it. Because John was about to be like, in November of 1982, a little boy was murdered. His name was Sammy, and he was your brother, Charlie.
Here's a graphic description of it.
Helpful.
God, yeah.
No, that's Charlie's like, no, just tell me if there's anything interesting. And they find out there's something really interesting, is that there was a co-owner with Charlie's dad at the Fredbear Pizzeria, and it was they see the picture, and they do the whole, is that? Couldn't be. It is.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward and assume that it's the fucking security guard.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, the audience has a lot of pieces of information already, so you don't need to hide it.
It turned out it was Clayton's mom. Like, what? Okay.
Carlton's mom?
Carlton. Sure. Yeah, whatever.
Clayton.
Carlton.
Yeah. That's the Clayton Ravine. Clara Clayton went down when the stagecoach ran away.
What?
It's a Back to the Future Part 3 reference. You gotta hang in there.
I was gonna get you there, man. I was gonna get you there. You just had to trust in me and hold on tight.
Clayton Ravine.
Everybody's favorite Back to the Future.
Everybody's favorite Back to the Future. The one where they go into the Old West.
Right.
And,
we were begging for that one.
Yeah. So Marla interrupts their microfilm session and microfilm wink session.
Wink, if you know what I mean.
And she basically says, Jason has gone missing. And Jason, basically, they assume Jason has gone back to the mall to look for Carlton because he was sick of everyone's shit because no one was believing what his version of events of what happens.
So very bravely marched into the mouth of hell. And that's gonna, I'm sure that's gonna work out great, kid.
It's gonna work out great for him. And that's it for our this coverage tonight.
And this is the chapter, by the way, where John officially becomes my least favorite character in this entire book. Because John is like, he's the dude who, like, when a girl is even halfway stressed about something, like, he has to, like, hold you close and embrace you. he's always trying to comfort the women in this book, especially Charlie. And I will give full credit to our authors. On more than one occasion, the women like rebuff him.
Right.
Like we get a couple of moments, at least one, maybe more than one, where Charlie's like, dude, I don't fucking want to hug. And then here where Marla like breaks in and she's like, Jason's missing. And it literally describes him going, oh, I'm so sorry. Like going in to hug her. And she's like, get the fuck off me. I don't want a back rub. What is your problem? Like he's such a creepy dude. I just officially over John. I don't know.
I'm not a fan of John. I feel like we have some other characters that could probably use a little bit more fleshing out than John.
Than Mr. Nice Guy Poet John. Yeah. I don't think we need John in our lives.
So we were talking a little bit before the show that it really does feel like this is a book that has been padded to all hell.
Yeah, big time.
And my theory was that here's my working theory is Scott Cawthon has he has these lore things that he's already developed, and he's like, all right, and he goes to the author Kira Breed Riesly and is like, all right, here's the things, we got to connect all these dots together. And I just imagine her saying something like, okay, I can do that in a 180 page novella, really tight. Boom. And he's like, no, Scholastic wants this to be like 400 pages minimum.
Right.
And so she's like, okay, and just starts jamming, extended scenes into the book.
It's like when you get a DVD, remember those, of a movie or something, and when DVDs were first coming out, and they were like really pushing, like they've got extended scenes and deleted scenes and all that stuff, and we were all so pumped. And then as a nation, we collectively learned that there's a reason you cut a lot of those scenes. There aren't a lot of moments in those movies or TV shows that were like, rats, we should have had that part in there. And that's just what this is. It's just all of those scenes that should have, hit the cutting room floor. But Scholastic wanted this to look like a big boy book. And I think you're right. I think that must be what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm landing on that. I mean, this is beyond. This is after Scholastic had a big hit with Harry Potter, and Harry Potter kept getting beefier and beefier. Yeah, and then there's all this other YA stuff that was like 400 pages long. So yeah.
That must be it, and it's so frustrating because. You nailed it last episode. You said you'd read ahead a little bit and you had a suspicion that maybe they should have started this book at chapter 5. And yeah, because this is the chapter where I start to go, this section, the middle third of this book is where I start to go, oh, our author can actually write. Like this actually has some moments, some genuinely unsettling moments.
Yeah, it's got some juice.
Development. It's got some juice. Like it's not Shakespeare, but it's not garbage either. And how many people do you suppose got through? You can't expect a person. We have a podcast, and we literally canceled this podcast for years because we couldn't get through the first 140 pages or so because it's so mind-bendingly boring and padded. How many people tried to get to, never got to any of the quote unquote good stuff because of how shitty an opening third of the book is. Like it's a real shame. It's a real shame.
It is a shame. It's not like books are unlike movies where, you can have a 90-minute movie where the first 30 minutes are like, meh. But then if the last 60 minutes kick ass, yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good movie. It's a little slow at the start, but it gets better.
Right. But the book requires so much more of you.
It requires so much dedication to kind of sit there and parse through and all that stuff. And if you're not hitting right out the gate, then honestly, that's something I've noticed is that read a mediocre book for longer if the opening was tight. If it had a really good opening, I will put aside the fact for a while that I'd be like, oh yeah, this is kind of losing steam.
Yeah.
There's been a few books over the past year that I've like given up on but I gave up on them. I feel like way too late because it was like
you were waiting for something.
The opening was too good, and it kind of covered up the writing on the wall of like, oh, it was a really good opening, but the author doesn't really know where to go beyond that.
Yeah, and and a lot of writers have got a great opening in them. There are some really. I actually took a course in grad school that was literally called "Writing the First Chapter," and all it was about was all the reading we did was first chapters of novels, and our full assignment by the end of it was to write the first chapter of a novel, and because that's so critical in even getting an agent or a publisher to read more, it's even more like the first 5 pages. Because they get so much garbage. And this is I can't think of the last time I've had a book where it's like the opposite problem like this.
Right.
It usually is far more like what you said. Like you get a really strong opener and then it just drags and you have to quit or whatever.
Yeah. And honestly, you guys, you being the audience, have heard this on the podcast. You've heard us be enthralled with a book in the opening moments, and then just slowly it starts to get a little lackluster by the end. I mean, I want to say Diablo. Diablo was one. Bloodborne was another one where the opening 2 graphic novels were chef's kiss, and then the last 2 were worse and worse. So yeah, it happens, and it's already been on this podcast. So if we get something that's in reverse, if the final third of this book is absolutely kick-ass,
we'll let you know.
We'll let you know. Obviously, next week you'll hear it.
Yeah. We don't want this to be bad. We want this to be good.
No, I would love to be proven wrong.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing. It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating because we've reached a point where you're like, this is good. Where was this? Why were you what are you buttering me up for? Like,
where was this stuff?
Yeah.
In the first third.
This is not a short book. It's a pretty long book. And people aren't going to finish it. And you know what? We talked last week about Goodreads. I was like the reviews.
Oh, why the score is so high? I was like, how is this score so high?
It's hilarious. It's because you've got this army of people who probably didn't read the book or read it and just kind of mindlessly, gave it 5 stars because they love everything FNAF. But when you keep reading, it's like 5 stars or 1 star. It is an insane ratio. Because is there a lot of DNF reviews? Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And it's wild how many people are just the people. If it's a little like the Bible. The people who actually read the fucking thing are not fans. It's frustrating. There's something to it. There's some juice there, and I can only hope that the final third proves to be worth it.
Right.
In the end.
And I don't think we'll see about the final third. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure it's ever going to get to the point where I can call this like just a really fantastic piece of fiction.
No.
Or even a good piece of fiction. I think it will get to the point where I can say there is a good story in it, and it needed to be coaxed out a little bit more. It needed to be edited down. It needed to be tightened up. But I don't think the people in charge were interested in that.
No.
What I'm going to assume. I don't think Scholastic was, and I don't think Scott Cawthon was either.
When you've got this many hands, you've got this many fingers in the pie, this many cooks in the kitchen, you're not coming out with a masterpiece. That's just all there's to it.
Yeah. So, with that all said, what are you playing and reading?
Oh, I'm still playing Uncharted.
Okay.
As the computer, as my gaming rig gets fixed up and pert and shiny, I've been really enjoying playing Uncharted. Not even necessarily because it's this great, tight video game. It's not bad, and I'm sure when it came out, it was an even better example of what it was trying to do. I find the controls can be a little clunky. The fights can be a little weirdly set up. Like there's this scene where you're riding a jet ski through this river that winds through this ancient temple. I think it's like an Incan thing. It's very cool. It's very pretty. And cool. You're either like screaming across on this thing, and then you have to stop and aim and kill bad guys and blow up, red barrels and shit. But you can't do both at once. You can't fire and move at the same time. So there's no real run and gun shit. And it feels awkward. There are moments like that. It's still really good, but it's starting to show its age, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And, but I'm still really, really enjoying my time with it simply because there is this, and I know it's not something that console people want to hear all that much because, console people want to be taken seriously. Seriously.
Yeah.
And which is fine. I like consoles. I don't think they're lesser than a PC necessarily. But there is something very appealing and very gratifying that I had almost forgotten about in just laying back and playing a console game, like just throwing it on and, sitting there with your controller and just chilling out and playing this fun platformer shooty game that's got a snarky sense of humor. It's Uncharted is like, this is the experience you expect from a console.
Right.
And it's giving me very old school, like Xbox vibes of like how I used to play games in college and shit. And
right.
I'm really
the big experience.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying
spectacle.
That aspect.
It's like the summer tent poles type of vibe.
Yeah, exactly. It's a blockbuster. And I'm really digging that feeling that it's giving me. And that's pretty important to me. Right. I'm almost finished reading After the Revolution by Robert Evans, who many people probably know better as the host of Behind the Bastards. Okay. And I'm really enjoying it. My fiance got it for me as an anniversary present because she listens to his show, and when it was pre-order, you could pre-order it and he would sign it for you. And so I have a signed copy. Oh, nice. I collect signed books and first editions. I love it. And I'm finally reading it, and it's great because it takes place in 2070. It's this post-Civil War America. And so like Texas is its own country, and they've referred to like the king of Albuquerque, like it's like its own tiny monarchy. California is its own country. The Pacific Northwest is its own thing. They're called Cascadia. The Northeast is this kind of secular country, and the South is called like the United Christian States of America or something. It's really smart.
That's amazing.
And Robert Evans, if you know anything about his career, he's a fascinating guy. He has been a wartime correspondent in some hairy fucking places. He has been in the shit and has written about it. And a lot of the stuff he writes about is very clearly based on stuff that has actually happened. Like one of the characters is a girl who has been quietly radicalized on the internet and wants to join up with this Christian extremist group that is trying to, create their own extremist Christian nation. And it's all very true to life in terms of like, well, that's very similar to how Al-Qaeda works. And there's a lot of that stuff that's like very real, and it can put a chill down your spine. But it's also a science fiction book. So you've got these post-human characters who have like literal nanobots in their blood and like, carbon fiber laced skeletons, and they're effectively immortal. and they are always high and drunk because it's the only way they can fucking deal with the world. And they're like, one of them literally goes around wearing nothing but red chaps with his dick hanging out all the time, and there's this anarchist free roaming city that's like literally on wheels, I think called Rolling Fuck. Like it's and it's hilarious because they say, why do you call your city Rolling Fuck? And they said, because when you give it too stately a name, people start taking it too seriously, and that's where all the trouble starts. And you're like, oh, that's pretty smart, actually. And
interesting.
so you've got this like really smart, thoughtful, like this could happen here kind of shit in there. And then you've got like a guy literally having his arm blown off and picking it up and holding it up to his shoulder stump so that the nanobots can attach it back on, and vomiting up a bag of oxycodone that he like kept in like a pouch in his stomach and swallowing all the pills so he could just be high during a war. It's bonkers. It's pure chaos and really, really good. It's called After the Revolution, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm like 100 pages from being finished, and I'm really enjoying it. I highly recommend it.
Hey there, Editor Kevin here. My mic started acting a little weird after this point on the show, so we're just gonna cut that chunk right out. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please come back next week where we finish off our coverage of Five Nights at Freddy's: The Silver Eyes. If you can, please rate us 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice, and check out our website, PixelLitPod.com, where we post transcripts to every episode and have links to our Steam Curator page and our Discord. Have a good night, everybody.